Well, folks, here we again for the weekly forecast. During this last week, we did see a rather significant storm system move across the state. We kind of hinted at the previous forecast that we would see this slope move into the Central Plains and drop some significant snow, or potential for some significant snow, particularly in western Nebraska. Well, we did see that snowfall set up. The heaviest of the snowfall fell from essentially Otwater, Kansas, southwestward towards Sharon Springs. In that area, 15 to 20 inches of snowfall were reported. Just to the north, across the Nebraska border, south of McCook, totals were up in the 6 to 7 inch range, and broad spread around the southwestern portion of the state into the western half of south central Nebraska. We've seen totals coming in anywhere from 2 to upwards of 5 inches of snowfall. Further east, it came in the form of liquid. And of course, that liquid was very heavy in some locations, portions of south central Nebraska, particularly from Hebron over toward Fairbury and just to the north of that region. We've seen totals coming in the 2.5 to 3.5 inch range. So this was an area that has been abnormally dry now for the better part of the last 3 months, and there was sufficient enough moisture to eliminate most of the deficits that have accumulated over the last 90 to 125 or 20 days. So we would expect to see some significant reductions in the depiction from the drought monitor in regards to Nebraska's abnormally dry regions and the moderate drought areas of southeastern Nebraska. Those will probably go to abnormally dry in next week's edition. So let's take a look and see if we have more storms on the way. And as we go to the upper air model, the system that moved through over the last 24 hours that brought light to moderate snow across northern and eastern Nebraska has now moved to the Great Lakes region, and we will probably see very cold conditions at the surface coming from the northwest, so our highs are going to be stuck in the lower 30s for the most part across the state. Northeast Nebraska may be in the upper 20s under partly cloudy skies. As we go into Sunday, we will start to see this low pressure system relaxing. The ridge starts to build in rather rapidly. We'll be looking at highs approaching the 50-degree mark in portions of the Panhandle. Further eastward, we're going to add about 5 degrees to the temperatures, and as we get into Monday, now the ridge starts centering itself right over the center part of the country, so we're going to be looking at temperatures consistently from the 40s in northern Nebraska to approaching the mid to low 50s across southern Nebraska. I'll draw your attention to the west. We have another storm system that's going to take shape, and depending on the overall track of this system will determine whether or not we get this storm coming in on Thanksgiving or it comes in the end of the weekend. This current model that I'm showing you now brings this system in on Thursday, Friday, but some of the models in the past week have been pushing this later in the weekend. So stay attention to the weather because things could change rather dramatically. Overall, we're going to have a rather significant storm system somewhere in the western United States that will impact travel significantly during the holiday weekend. So as we go into Tuesday, this system starts to get its act together. We start to see the first piece of energy shoot out. Looks like it will generate some light precipitation, particularly across southeast Nebraska. But more importantly, as we get into Wednesday, the system really wraps up, brings a lot of moisture up into our region. We could see the development of thunderstorm activity, particularly on Thursday. But the first initial moisture should start to Wednesday night, and that will carry on into Thursday across western Nebraska. And we could see some significant snowfall accumulations, and that will gradually move through the state on Thursday, generating severe weather across southeastern Nebraska, and more importantly on Friday, we keep the snow around with very cold temperatures. So let's take a look at the temperature forecast. Very cold this first part of the weekend, warming up there in the midweek before that storm comes in with very cold temperatures. We look at the 8 to 14 day forecast. Those cold temperatures stay in place, and in terms of precipitation from next Thursday to the following Tuesday, above normal, but most of this is taken into consideration that impending storm system.